Hello, this is Doug Slay, and this is Faith is the Victory. The subject that we are dealing with today is called Faith Motivators. In this lesson, we're talking about faith motivators, as I've just said, because it seems to me that we don't have enough information about the world that we live in to motivate us to seek out, to search out, and to take responsibility for the growth and the development of our faith. The fact is, if we don't have the proper motivation, we will not actively and persistently grow our faith. We don't give enough attention to it. To grow our faith and develop it, or that it is world overcoming faith, it will require several things in our lives. And I won't mention all of them in this session, but a couple of them. But I want to repeat again, to grow our faith, we have to have the proper motivation. If we're not motivated, if it's something that's not moving us and motivating us to grow our faith, we will not do it. We, as human beings, have to have the proper motivation. Number one, the first thing that we will need if we're going to grow our faith is to make a decision to grow it. It will require a decision on our part, and by decision, I don't mean a lukewarm, half-hearted kind of decision. I mean an unqualified decision that we're not going to go back on, that will regulate our lives and focus our attention on growing the kind of faith that equips us to live in this world and overcome. We readily have and made available to us a kind of faith that we need. It's not hidden from us, it's not kept from us. But we have to pursue it, we have to want it, but we readily have available a kind of faith that overcomes the world that we live in. Now, we recognize that this kind of faith is just too important to be without. It's too important to do without, not give our attention to, and want to know about it. So we make the decision to give our full attention to it. It's just that important. Now the scripture says that we are to study to show ourselves unto God a workman that needeth not to be ashamed. To carry out that scripture mandate, to do what it says, is going to require faith, a God kind of faith. It will require a kind of faith that gives us the ability to both understand and then carry out our assignment in this hostile world. And I emphasize that the hostile world is where we are living and carrying out our assignment. Now the Lord is looking for people in whom He can show Himself strong. What kind of people is it? It's faith-filled people. He's looking for people of faith, the Bible faith, to carry out Himself and to make Himself strong in. For God to show Himself strong in faithless people is a near impossibility. So on our part, we should be giving ourselves to understanding Bible faith. We should be asking ourselves, what does it mean to be called a person of faith? Have we looked in the Bible, which is the only source for getting a true picture of world overcoming faith? Number two, it will require diligence. Diligence is a quality of life that many of us are lacking. I don't mean that we are not semi-diligent. No doubt. There are areas in our life where diligence takes second place, though. And I think it's fair to say, without personal diligence, the walk of faith as described in the Bible will not be attained. Let me hasten to say that we're not talking about avoidance of what happens in life, because Jesus said, in this world, in the world that I'm speaking of, in this world we shall have persecution. Because in context, and I'm talking all about the world where faith is needed to overcome, in this world we will have persecutions. Now the word persecutions there is plural, not just one persecution, but persecution comes like wave after wave, like the waves of the sea crashing in on the shore. Persecution comes after us wave after wave, crashing in on our life. So we need the kind of faith that gives us the victory. And the Bible goes on to say something about this world where we need this kind of faith, that it has its own God. And the God of the Bible, the God of the world as the Bible describes, is Satan himself. Let me tell you, Satan is no friend to you or me or any human being. Now, as the God of this world, he inflicts punishment. You name it, whether it be sickness, disease, poverty, or the homelessness that we see, whatever it is, the God of this world is inflicting it with his own diabolical agenda. It is his job, as the scripture says, that he came to steal, to kill, and to destroy. Now, this is something that we should be aware of, but not afraid of. But at the same time, we should not be sticking our head in the sand. We should recognize the source of it, of problems, of sickness, disease, of wars, of homelessness, is sin itself, and Satan is behind that. We should not be sticking our head in the sand and just ignoring it. One more illustration that we would give is in the book of Acts. As it is said of Jesus that he went about doing good and healing all that were oppressed of the devil. Why? Because God was with him. Now that's just a simple paraphrase, but it gets the point across that Jesus went about doing good and healing all that was oppressed of the devil. Now what this does, it explicitly shows that it is the devil that is the oppressor. Never get it confused. Who the oppressor is the devil. Now another word for oppressor, as some translations is the word terrorist. So you could say that Jesus went about doing good and healing all that was being terrorized by the devil. The devil is the original terrorist. So I want to emphasize again that it's in this world and the God of this world that is actively at work to destroy, or as we repeat again, he came to steal, to kill, and destroy. Now, why am I saying all of this about our lesson about taking faith and faith motivators? It's because I want to motivate you to come to the place where you are unwilling to do without world overcoming faith. Because the more you and I know about this world and the God of this world, the more we know about how death came into the world, including all that harms and destroys, the more we want to know and want to have the same kind of faith that gives us the victory over everything the devil brought into this world. We want to motivate you to know faith, because if you're not motivated, you won't know. And you have to motivate yourself every day. So you need to make the decision. You need to acquire the discipline to stay focused, to find out about Bible faith and how it's world overcoming. And you'll find yourself winning battles where you've been losing. You'll be finding victories that you never thought you could. You'll become worry-free. Your mind won't be confused because you have learned something and you are motivated to have the faith of God working in your life. Again, this is Faith of Victory and Doug Slay speaking. Until next time, God bless.